I'd like to do is sort of outline the county's experience with the previous case just briefly and share with you what I know so far of the new case. But this is the second case that has been filed with the Public Service Commission for a utility-scale solar system that is in conflict with local zoning. There are two other cases that have been going through the Public Service Commission process where an application for a CPCN has been filed. That is a Certificate of Public Necessity and Convenience. The two applications that are consistent with zoning are located in our industrial and employment center districts in the Route 301 corridor. Those projects are smaller scale projects. They're 45-acre and 50-acre projects, so about a 90-acre project combined on two adjacent properties by two separate companies. The case that has recently been filed and the Mills Branch case, which has just reached some sort of a conclusion, which isn't a definitive conclusion, have been proposed in land that is specifically not zoned for utility scale solar energy systems. The Mills Branch case is a 350-some acre proposal in the agricultural zoning district, and the Morgneck Road case is about a 255-acre project, and that project is zoned, it is split zoned. It is zoned rural residential, community residential, intense village, and the critical area zoning, which is resource conservation district. The county studied solar energy provisions in 2010 through the Renewable Energy Task Force and adopted provisions for small scale and utility scale systems. So the county felt as though when cases were proposed that were inconsistent with our zoning, the county felt as though we had studied the matter, we had adopted appropriate text amendments, anticipatory of the state's initiatives that folded into our land use ordinance in a way that was consistent with our comprehensive plan. So when the Mills Branch case, which had begun as a wind energy project, which was also not consistent, the county did not zone for utility scale wind in the unincorporated areas at all, finding that utility scale systems were inconsistent with our comprehensive plan everywhere, but that utility scale solar was consistent as an industrial use. So when we realized that the wind project had shifted gears and had become a solar project, the county was relatively comfortable in filing to intervene in that case. The commissioners were very vocal in their opposition to the wind project and were equally vocal in their desire to see our land use ordinance upheld, in spite of the applicant's claim of preemption of local zoning. In filing to intervene in that case, the county became a party to that case. And as a party, the county was copied on all documentation, was included in all scheduling, scheduling conferences, in the hearings that were established. The county was invited to, as a party, to sit at the public hearings, and also was able to file briefs and appeals of all matters entered as evidence into the case, and was able to obviously refute evidence through cross-testimony and cross-examination and rebuttal testimony and rebuttal briefs to be filed. Without being a party to the case, the county would have weighed in, would have been following the case closely, but would not have had a seat at the table, and the county's vested interest would not have received the same level of consideration. Also very helpful in that case was the support of what was then Keep Kent Scenic, who are here tonight and could answer questions from a citizens group perspective in terms of all of the countless hours that they spent really supporting the county's position, but also adding a perspective that the county wasn't able to represent as well as the, they're not Keep Kent Scenic anymore, the Kent Conservation
and Preservation Alliance.
So in that collaborative effort, which it was in a lot of ways, the county and the Alliance were able to submit sufficient testimony to really result in a positive order in that case. We just received the order from the Public Utility Law Judge this time last week. The order denied the certificate, but also made findings relative to preemption. So the Public Utility Law Judge reaffirmed the Public Service Commission's authority to preempt local zoning. Prior to that decision, the Morgneck solar case was filed. So we were all anxiously awaiting the Mills Branch decision to see if that might alter the trajectory of this new case. It may, it hasn't yet. We've already had a couple of meetings with the Public Service Commission staff. They are called the PPRP, the PowerPoint Research Program, and they act as staff to the Public Service Commission in terms of generating staff reports, coordinating with state agencies. They also coordinate with the People's Council and with the attorneys who are staffed to the Public Service Commission, and the PPRP has their own council. In meeting with the Public Service Commission staff and in really an initial contact that I had with consultants working for this applicant, this case is unique in that the land in question has been very specifically identified and studied by the town of Chestertown through the Eastern Shore Land Conservancy charrette that garnered the Greenbelt Plan, which was officially adopted into the town's comprehensive plan. And that plan was adopted in 2008, and accepted in 2008. So it has manifested itself in a support in the comprehensive plan, but in your most recent comprehensive plan through the requirement to adopt a municipal growth element. I did direct the consultants to the town's plan and suggested that the applicant consult with the town directly, because as the county I don't want to speak on behalf of the town and don't want to presume that I have a working understanding of your comprehensive plan strategies and goals. But certainly it was a red flag that this specific property is identified as a priority annexation area in the town's comprehensive plan. A large portion of what is known as the Clark Farm Tract is located in the priority funding area. The critical area component, the critical area section of this, of one of the parcels in question, is not proposed for solar development and is not located in the priority funding area. But another long-range planning effort is also platted in this area, and that is the boulevard formerly known as the Chestertown Bypass, which has also been the subject of great study over the years. So with this collective properties import to the town of Chestertown's growth plan, and with the continued inconsistency with the county zoning ordinance, the applicant was strongly encouraged to consider land that was appropriately zoned, of which there are approximately 4,000 acres available in the county.
Why are these guys targeting all these properties that are not zoned?
the way that we would like them to be? I mean, why are they buying, is the land cheaper, or?
I think that we've gotten an education as to why this is happening, more so than we probably wanted. The Eastern Shore is being targeted.
Yeah.
Our area is really being targeted and has been the subject of at least one test case, which we hope will hold some weight. The feeling is that the very nature of our agricultural zoning makes it attractive for this type of development because it is open land that is easily converted.
Companies, they are speculative. They just come in, build, and they sell it. What they're doing is buying tax benefits, and they're selling it. So that's the type of company that is taking advantage of the old ruling that Amy was talking about. It's a 1990 ruling that said that there's preemption if you want to place electric transmission wires anywhere, that local zoning can't prevent that. Well, that's a big difference from what we have now. These solar companies that are private companies coming in and building where they choose, and then saying that they're going to be selling eventually solar energy to the electric companies that go out of the area. Right. And that is that's the threat that we have over here. These companies are making money, and they're disappearing. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's the difference between this case and the case from 1990. And we need to get the legislature to understand that. The local legislators in the Mills Branch case sent letters and said that they did not intend with the legislation that they've adopted that would be the case. We need to push them to make sure that there's legislation that's adopted to reflect that position. Whether it's by saying that that the solar, that has to be a company, electric company, to be preempted, or if it's saying that solar energy simply saying that solar energy must comply. Right. But we need to have some legislation, and that's the second part of this. The first part is, I think it would be a good idea for the town to be a party. And the reason for that is you have your own voice. The county is going to speak for the county's zoning ordinance, and they could offer testimony from members of the town, but the town needs its own voice at the table.